HBN, Helping Hearts Broadcasting Network.
Hi everyone and welcome to our podcast. Now, did you know that most of your problems in life could be avoided if only you learned how to act on decisions instead of acting on emotions? Unfortunately, majority of us, myself included, have made choices based on emotions as opposed to making choices based on decisions. We were supposed to act on decisions, not act on emotions. Now, I don't have anything against emotions. Emotions are good. Emotions are important because emotions make life colorful. Without emotions, life would be very, very dull. For example, when I receive a good report, I'm excited. I am happy. When I receive a bad report, I am sad. So emotions allow me to express myself depending on the prevailing circumstance. In a wedding, I am excited. In a funeral, I am sad. If we were not able to express ourselves emotionally, we'll be like a robot, we'll be like automated machines. And that would make life to be very dull. So there's a reason why God created us as emotional beings. However, emotions were never supposed to be at the driving seat of our lives. God meant for us to act on decisions, not act on feelings. And most of our problems in life could be avoided if only we acted on decisions instead of acting on feelings. I have nothing against feelings. I have nothing against being emotional. But there's something wrong when we make choices and decisions based on feelings. Let me tell you something. Many fraudsters, many con artists often prey on our emotions. All people who are scammers, all people who deal with fraudulent businesses, they prey on our emotions. If I want to get you to buy something, I just need you to get emotionally attached to it. If I need you to invest in a fraudulent scheme, I will make sure I get you emotionally invested in it and make sure that all reason, all logical, rational reason goes out the window. Because if I can get your emotions in it, I can make you to make an emotional decision. So many people are in financial trouble, relationship trouble, not because they are bad, not because there's something wrong with them, but because they made choices based on feelings. We were meant to be rational, logical human beings, and we were supposed to make choices based on a rational, logical point of view. And that is why, even when you look at scripture, God often and always appeals to us based on knowledge. Based on knowledge. The Bible is a book about knowledge. God is appealing to our cognitive abilities. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. God uses word, knowledge to appeal to us because even our faith in Him is never supposed to be based on emotions. If you learn what I'm teaching you today, it will set you free from so many potential poor choices and decisions. So there are many people who are well-meaning, and you entered into a relationship with that person, and you allowed your emotions to cloud your judgment. And when you are emotionally charged and you're not thinking rationally and from a logical point of view, you committed yourself to someone, you ignored all the red flags, and now you find yourself in a toxic relationship. Probably as a businessman, as an investor, as an entrepreneur, you saw a business opportunity and you became emotionally invested in that business, in that idea. You threw logic and reason outside the window, and now you find yourself in financial trouble because you made an emotional choice, an emotional decision. We were not supposed to act on emotions. We were meant to act on decisions. God created us to act on decisions. And for you and I to be able to act on decisions, that means we need to be rational and logical human beings. Rational, logical. That means that before I make a move, I have to look at the facts at the table. I have to do due diligence. Yes. I have to have an honest conversation with myself, look at the pros and the cons, listen to some advice, listen to some counsel. The Bible says, in a multitude of counselors, there is safety. So most con artists, most fraudsters, and most scammers, they prey on our emotions because they understand if they can get you to act emotionally, then you will make an uninformed decision. If I can get you to respond to me emotionally, then I can make you to do whatever it is that I want. So if you're going to take charge of your life, if you're going to rectify some of the poor decisions you have made, you need to learn how to act on decisions. Don't act on feelings, act on decisions, especially when it comes to those issues that are important in your life. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances, learn how to act on decisions. Be a person who does due diligence. Be a person who surrounds themselves with people who are able to give them counsel and insight. Put your emotions aside and let the logical, rational part of you take center stage, especially when it comes to those things that are important to you. So many of us have found ourselves in situations and circumstances where we have lost money, we have lost resources, we have gotten ourselves into relationships that are end up to be toxic just because we were emotionally charged at that moment and we ignored all the red flags and we did not do due diligence. We ignored all the red flags. We didn't want anyone to tell us nothing. So fast forward, now you are in financial distress. You are in a toxic, abusive relationship and you have no one else to blame but you. Learn how to act on decisions. You can no longer be acting on feelings. Feelings are good. Feelings are important because feelings make life colorful. We are not supposed to be robotic. We are supposed to have emotions. We are supposed to have those feelings, but we were not supposed to allow feelings to take the driving seat of our lives. No, let your logical, rational part of you take the driving seat in your life. By doing so, you'll avoid a lot of pain and a lot of heartache. So we're supposed to be acting on decisions and we're not supposed to be acting on feelings. This truth I'm sharing with you can potentially protect you from so much loss in the future. What I'm sharing with you today could make the difference between success and failure. What I'm sharing with you today, and when you look back at your life in retrospect, you can see at what stage in your life you made an emotional decision, you ignored all the red flags, you ignored all the advice and the counsel from your friends, and now fast forward, you find yourself in a situation that could have been avoided if only you had acted on decisions as opposed to acting on feelings. Feelings were never supposed to take the driving seat of your life. Feelings were never supposed to take the center stage in your life. Absolutely not. And that's why, again, I say it, even when God is appealing to you and I, He appeals to our mind. He appeals to our cognitive abilities. He does not appeal to our emotions because emotions are not sustainable. Emotions have a yo-yo effect. Emotions can be manipulated. Yes. So today I feel this way, but tomorrow I'll feel another way. So if I make choices based on how I feel, I will never really have a footprint as it regards to making headway in life. If I made choices based on how I feel, then I'll never have concrete steps. I'll never make concrete steps towards achieving anything significant in life. People who are successful in life, be it in business or be it in relationship, are people who have learned the art of acting on decisions. I'm not going to be moved away from a decision just because I feel this thing is different. Absolutely not. I'm going to put all the facts on the table. I'm going to do my due diligence. And once I commit myself to something, I'm going to do it. When you act on decisions, your chances of success in life are far greater as opposed to someone who acts on feelings. Con artists, fraudsters capitalize on people who are emotional. I'll give you a very simple example. The thing about sales is this, and this is very important if you're in business. Efficient sales people understand that in order for you to get a sale done, if you're going to make a sale and you have a potential client, you have to learn how to emotionalize their decision. So if a lady walks into a shop and she's window shopping, yes, and she's just window shopping, she's not intending to buy a pair of shoes. If you are an efficient salesperson and she tries on that shoe, then you will know how to get her to emotionally make a decision to buy that shoe, because you're looking for a sale, yes, and you don't have any regard as to whether she need another pair of shoe or not. You could care less. You just need to make a sale. So you will not appeal to her logical, rational mind. You will not tell her, oh, you don't need another shoe, you need to save your money. You won't tell her that. No, you will tell her things like, that shoe makes you look awesome. I mean, that shoe is the bomb. You need to have that shoe. You cannot afford to leave that shoe. It goes with your dress. It complements your colors. And by doing so, you are appealing to her emotions. And what happens? She will make an emotional purchase. You will close the deal and you will have won because you have made a sale. And she will go home with another pair of shoes that she doesn't really need, but you have appealed to her emotions. So sales people use this technique. They understand, if I can appeal to your emotions when you're buying anything, if I can appeal to your emotions, I will make you even get a loan to buy something that you don't really need. So many people have a lot of stuff. You bought a lot of stuff that you don't really need, and you're making poor financial decisions because you are an emotional buyer. So if you're going to be successful in life and avoid pitfalls, especially when it comes to money and love affairs, you need to always allow your cognitive abilities, your rational, logical perspective to always take the driving seat. If you don't learn this, my friend, you will learn the hard way. So it is easier to learn by instruction than to learn the hard way. So listen, even when you think about people who are, like I said, con artists and fraudsters, they will appeal to your emotions. Buy this piece of land. Look at how strategically positioned it is. Think about your future, but they don't want you to do due diligence. They don't want you to go to the registry of lands and do a search on that piece of land. No, they want you to make an emotional decision and commit yourself to buying that land without due diligence because you're emotionally charged. And as long as you allow your emotions to take the driving seat, you'll always be at the mercy of manipulative people. You'll always be at the mercy of manipulative people. Narcissists, they do that. A narcissist will prey on people who are emotionally vulnerable. Yes, they will prey on someone who is emotionally vulnerable. The thing about the way God created us is this, is that there is a way through knowledge you can adjust yourself so that every time you are about to make an emotional decision, you take a step back and you look at that situation again and you ask yourself, do I really need this? Have I done due diligence? Every time you feel pressured to make a decision, that is a red flag. Every time you feel pressured to make a decision, that is a red flag. If I have to buy something, if I have to spend money on something, I need time to think about it. I need time to think about it. Why? Because I need to get out of my emotional heart and put on my logical heart. Don't allow your emotions to control your life. Your chances of finding yourself in trouble by reason of making emotional decisions are way higher than when you act on decisions. People who act on decisions, their rate of success, be it relationship wise or be it financial wise, is significantly higher, because when you act on decisions, you're making a decision based on logical, rational perspective. So you need to have a logical, rational perspective about what it is you're about to do. And especially when it comes to things that are important, like who to spend the rest of your life with. When it comes to decisions like where to buy that piece of land, where to invest that money, should I go abroad? Should I stay at home? Should I work for that company? Should I leave this company? Don't make emotional choices and decisions. Be the kind of a person that will sleep on a decision before you make it. Yes, I'd rather lose out on a deal, yes, but make sure that I've done my homework. I would rather lose out on a deal, but make sure I do my homework, as opposed to rushing into something for which I have no concrete data. If I don't have concrete data on that thing, I'm not going to put myself into it. So we blame the devil we blame him over some things that really are as a result of us acting emotionally. And we go to God in prayer when we find ourselves in trouble because we did not make a logical, rational decision. There's a reason why God made us to be logical, rational human beings, because He intends for us to be able to do due diligence before we decide on something. It is okay for you to change your mind on something. Before you put ink to paper on that deal, you are allowed to have a second opinion. You are allowed to change your mind. Changing your mind doesn't make you a terrible person. It doesn't make you a bad person. No, it just means that you are a man or a woman of due diligence. It is okay to change your mind. Before you put ink to paper, you can change your mind. No decision is cast in stone. You can change your mind. It is important for you to always go through something. Take time out and think about that decision you're about to make. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Do I need this? What value is this thing bringing to my life? What value is this idea bringing to my life? I'm not going to rush into a business idea because everybody is doing it. I'm not going to do that. I need to know what are the facts on the table. I need to ask myself, does this business idea line up with my ideals? Does it line up with my vision? Does it line up with what I want to do in the long term? So if my friend entered into a business deal and it brought him a lot of money, thank God for him. But before I commit my resources to that deal, I will do due diligence. Absolutely. I will leave no stone unturned until I make sure I have every fact on the table. And once I have every fact on the table, then I'm able to make an informed decision. I refuse to make emotional choices and decisions. You will find yourself, and let me tell you, and I speak this from a very sincere point of view. There are many people who have found themselves in relationships that have turned out bad. Not because they are bad per se, but because they entered into that relationship without due diligence. You didn't do your homework. You became emotionally attached to that person, and that emotional attachment clouded your judgment. So a year down the line, 2 years down the line, you two are no longer together. And you're looking for someone to blame, but really there's no one to blame. You are to blame. Yes? Because the minute you're emotionally attached, it clouds your judgment. You're not able to know, to see the red flags. But when you put your emotions aside and you become a logical, rational person in your approach to relationship or even finances, you'll be able to see the red flags and the green flags. Red flags and the green flags. So if you want to enhance your chances of success, relationship wise or financial wise, be a person who acts on decisions. And once you commit yourself to something, after you've done due diligence, see that decision through. Once you commit yourself to something, see that thing through. Okay? See it through. Once you have done due diligence and you are at peace based on the fact on the table that this is a good deal, this is a good idea, see it through. Don't be the kind of a person that procrastinates. There are people who, once they've done due diligence on something, they will then procrastinate. Yes, they will sit on that deal. They'll think, all right, I'm not going to commit myself yet. No, strike while the iron is red. Are you listening to what I'm saying? The early bird catches the worm. Once you have done due diligence and all the facts are on the table and everything looks good, act with speed, act with haste. Why? Because if you don't do it, then that potential deal cannot come through for you. Someone else who is much more consistent, much more faster than you may jump on it. So once you have done due diligence and you know this is good and you are at peace with it, then act on it and commit yourself to it. You have to learn how to commit yourself to something. Once you've made a decision, commit yourself to it. Don't be the kind of a person that is not consistent. Don't be the kind of a person that when things go, when you face road bumps along the way, and when you face challenges along the way, you want to abandon ship. There are people that think that success will be handed to them on a silver platter. There are people who think that success has no rough edges to it. The fact of the matter is this: even after you've done due diligence and you've committed yourself, there will be hiccups along the way. There will be hiccups in that relationship. There will be hiccups in that business. There will be hiccups in that vision. But as long as you're committed to it, as long as you're committed to that decision, guess what? Then the reward shall come ahead of you. So again, this is very key. This is very important, that you need to learn to act on decisions and do not act on feelings. You will save yourself a lot of pain. You will save yourself a lot of trouble by acting on decisions as opposed to acting on feelings. Look, I really hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. God bless you.
Teaching, training, coaching,